Hey folks, and welcome back to another week of UTL highlights. This week we're running 15 laps on a long track, but a short race overall. The course So Dirty, course author Andy Korzik. Coming into this week, Ian has 2 wins on 2 races so far. Can he extend it to 3? Scott and Andy fighting for second place, coming in tied. Let's see how things break down. We're just going to go through the first 2 laps of this race. You're going to see all of that footage, just because at the end of 2 laps you can kind of see how it shakes out. You're also going to kind of see how fast this track is. 2 previous tracks coming in had several areas of jumps, several areas of trickiness. This course is just a fairly fast track throughout. A couple of the turns through the dirt here. You'll see this turn here is the tricky one. You got to manage your speed well. Make sure that you have enough speed for this jump. Missing this jump is potentially one of the biggest mistakes you can make on this course. As we come around through the first half of the track, Isaac Epp falling a little back from the main pack. Andy in front, followed by Alex. But as you can see, like I said, very fast course through all of the turns. Small mistakes are going to add up over time. Even on this first lap, you can see Andy with a sizable lead hitting that side barrier. That's going to let Alex and Ian right by. Starting lap 2, the order is Alex, Ian, Dibs, Scott, Andy, and then Isaac far behind. Dibs hits that barrier on turn 1 in lap 2. That's going to set him a little back. And the fight at the front right now between Ian and Alex. Coming into the jump turn, Scott nips that corner. He's not going to make that jump. That's going to set him back. And the top 4 right now, Ian, Alex, Andy, and Dibs. Alex manages to clip that corner. He's going to fall to the back now. And joined back there by Dibs after he hits the edge coming up the ramp. Which means that at the end of lap 2 here, you're going to see Alex again bump the sides, do a little pinballing. At the end of lap 2, we got Ian and Andy contending for the lead and fighting for third place. Alex and Dibs, and that's how it's going to be actually most of the race. We go to the back here. You see Isaac misses. That's going to let Scott by, and then a few seconds later in the dirt he flips over. That's going to have 2 resets for that lap. That's going to set him pretty far behind. Scott also in 5th place right now, not really contending because of that missed jump. Alex in front of Dibs. This is going to be an intense battle. Dibs brushes aside there, can't quite catch up to him. And they are going to be going back and forth on this through the first 3 laps. This is lap 3 that they're running right now. Up the ramp. And as they come down and around here, Alex is going to bang that inside corner and let Dibs by. Dibs takes the 3rd position on lap 3. Lap 4, Isaac. A bump in the dirt before the jump. He's going to miss it, have to reset, set him even further back. And 1 lap later in lap 5, Scott, panicking a little bit with his position, hits the wall, and then about 30 seconds later in the dirt, gets a bad line, resets, and that's going to be pretty much the race for both of them, Scott and Isaac, going to be in 5th and 6th. At halfway through, we got Ian, then Andy, then Dibs, 1, 2, 3 across the stripe. Alex, a little further back, but certainly still in it, coming across the line there. Scott probably half a lap back. Isaac almost a full lap back. A little after halfway through the race, Andy catching up on Dibs. Sorry, flip that. Dibs catching up on Andy. Andy's the car in front there right now. and both of them not too far back from Ian. As you can see, Ian looking to lap Isaac up ahead. And there are a few sections of the racetrack where it almost looks like Dibs has the advantage, but Andy, running a pretty clean line, manages to stay ahead of him. Keeping that gap fairly steady. Up in front, Ian looking to pass Isaac, looking to get him out of his computer screen, get some clean screen in front of him, and because he's trying so hard to pass him here, he's actually running a little off his fastest pace. Andy almost catches him, bumps that inside corner, gives up a little time. Ian actually having trouble passing Isaac here, who's running fairly well, until he hits that outside corner. That's going to let Ian by. And now Andy has to contend with Isaac on his screen. You're going to see Isaac make another mistake in the dirt here. That's going to let Andy by. Dibs is also going to go by him. This is lap 10 now. Coming in, Dibs looking to catch Andy. He's going to nip that corner just a little bit. Does he have enough? No, he's not going to make that jump. That's going to give Andy a little bit of breathing room. Andy still looking to catch Ian. Getting close. He can taste it, but hits the wall, flips, has to reset right before that checkpoint. Gives up that advantage that he had over Dibs. That timing between the two of them is fairly close once again. Dibs right on his tail. Through the S curves, Andy a little slow. Dibs passes him on lap 10. Two laps later, because Andy and Dibs had to reset, Isaac got ahead of both of them. Dibs passes by Isaac handily. Doesn't have to deal with him for much time at all. And that's going to give him a clean screen and the ability to follow his own racing line. Andy gets into it with Isaac, and he's going to have a little bit of trouble getting by Isaac. And I think something that people may not realize at home is that when you have lap traffic in front of you, what's usually happening is they're usually running a slower time. That's why they are behind. But because you're behind them, it's very easy to fall in line and follow their line and sometimes get a little bit, have your own race pace fall off a bit. Andy finally gets by Isaac after doing battle with him for a little bit. He's got some catching up to do with Dibs, who's putting down good times. Dibs hits that wall, and that's going to give Andy a little bit of time to catch up. Lap 13, Alex. He's got a big gap in front of him and a big gap behind him, but he almost flips over there. Wouldn't have been too big of a disaster. I think Scott was far enough behind that he wouldn't have caught up. But a little bit of a scare. Andy and Dibs trading these little mistakes that they're making 1-to-1. So Andy not gaining too much time on Dibs. He sees Dibs and has a chance to run him down here in the closing laps of this race. But as he attempts to do so, on potentially the last lap of the race, he gets into that turn one a little bit too fast, and that's going to give up any chance he has of securing second place. So it's going to be Ian once again out front almost all day with his third win in as many races. Dibs is going to come home a very strong second place, and Andy, fighting with Dibs most of the day for that second place, is going to come in third. After that, we got Alex, then Scott, then Isaac. So Andy continues doing well. Ian continues his dominance. Dibs and Alex, good bounce-back performances. Scott, a poor day for him. Isaac, another bad showing for him. Hunter is going to ghost race this race, and we'll see what happens once his time comes in. We will, of course, also See you next week at Adverton Speedway. Bye for now.